everyone, I'm in the financial district of New York, and today I'm going to give a tour of Wall Street. And I'm starting here on the East River, and looking out to the east there, that would be the Brooklyn Bridge, and the bridge behind would be the Manhattan Bridge, and across the East River that would be the city of Brooklyn. And gonna begin my tour here. This overpass is for the FDR highway, and this basically circles the city of Manhattan. And they also made a bike lane that parallels the FDR highway. And this is South Street that I'm about to cross. And I am now on Wall Street, and it's about maybe a half-mile walk to the New York Stock Exchange. It'll probably take about maybe 15 or 20 minutes. I was looking up some of these buildings here, and nothing really major is showing up. They're just your standard office buildings. And this one off to the right, it's a WeWork building, which they basically just rent office space. And this building here to the left, basically the same thing. There's no major companies that I could find just using my GPS. And this area here is probably one of the few parts of Wall Street that actually have somewhere where you could take your dog, or just an open space area, because it's mostly all concrete once you get past this block here. And they're also doing quite a bit of construction on these buildings here. They have the it's like I'm not sure what you would call them, safety passages set up so nothing falls on the pedestrians down below on the sidewalk. And this building off to the right here is 100 Wall Street. Let's see if I get a better view of that. And basically another office building, nothing major is showing up. But one thing I did find interesting here is this plaque here says that at one time Wall Street was used as a slave market. And it says basically that they were buying and selling slaves up until slavery was abolished in 1841 in the state of New York. And of course 20 years after that would be the Civil War. But being such an important fact, I'm surprised they don't have a bigger monument that explains how Wall Street got its start. And I'm now crossing Water Street. Looks like there's a few hotels. That one building there looks to be a Holiday Inn. And this big brown building, this is showing up as a condo complex. And conveniently enough, there's a Nathan's hot dog parked right in front. See how much a hot dog is today. It's $3.50 for a hot dog, so not a bad price for Manhattan, or especially this part of Manhattan. And off to the right, they're doing some more construction on this building. This looks pretty old, and it looks to be mostly residential. I'm now approaching Pearl Street, and it looks like it's getting kind of busy here today. There's no parking as usual. And this restaurant to the right is a Joe and the Juice, coffee and juice. And this next restaurant is called Sweet Green, and basically it's a salad restaurant. And this building to the right here, this looks to be a bank building. Let me see if they put their name on it. And the thing is, quite a few of these buildings at one time, they might have been banks, but some of them, or quite a few, aren't used as banks anymore. They're just office buildings or residential. This says it's a Deutsche Bank, and a pretty big building. Not really sure how much Deutsche Bank uses in there, but they're probably one of the only major banks that have their main office located on Wall Street, because most of these other bank buildings have been vacated by the banks, such as this building off to the left. It's 55 Wall Street, and let's see what the GPS says. It's a National City Bank Building and Merchants Exchange, and it certainly looks the part of a bank building, but it's no longer used as a bank. It is a Cipriani restaurant. And it looks like they might have their restaurant there on the second floor. And just an online review, they also have a very large ballroom inside the building, which is part of the Cipriani restaurant. And directly ahead is a Wall Street subway station entrance. And I'm still on Wall Street. This part is closed off to car traffic. They have a police checkpoint here. And this building to the right is the Trump building, and it is owned by the former President Donald Trump, and it is used as basically an office building. They just rent office space there. And across from the Trump building is a Tiffany and Company, and it looks like these would be on top here, mostly apartments and residential. Excuse me, residential. Continuing on. There's a few juice stands here, hot dog stands. Let's see what they're selling. This one's closed. And it's kind of interesting, these grates in the sidewalk here, that's just ventilation for the subway. And every about 5 minutes you can hear a train passing by. See, this is a fruit shake. Large fruit shake is $5, which that's a decent deal for this part of New York. And just about to the New York Stock Exchange. This building on the right is showing up. Let's see, address. I don't see an address, but on the GPS it is showing up as a federal hall built in 1842, and it was used as a U.S. Customs house, and it looks like it's closed because of the coronavirus, but it now looks to be a museum. And here is the New York Stock Exchange building, and being that it's before 3 o'clock, the exchange is still open, and they even have a ticker tape there on that entrance, and it looks like there's quite a bit of security. I don't think it's open to the public. And at the very top of the building it does say New York Stock Exchange. Neat looking building. And now crossing Broad Street, and just down the street there's a TJ Maxx department store, and at first I thought it could be their headquarters, but it's just a retail outlet for TJ Maxx. And this building, most of it is residential. Just walk inside this department store here real quick. Have to put my mask on because there's still the mask mandate for the city of New York. And there's a set of escalators that'll take you downstairs. And here's the TJ Maxx department store. It's basically what you would probably find in almost any other city. It just happens to be right next to Wall Street. And going back up the escalator to Wall Street to continue our tour. And to the left is the Federal Hall building, Customs House, and directly ahead is the Stock Exchange. And I could just barely hear a subway car down below here through these grates. That looks to be pretty deep down there. I'd say that's at least like 30 feet. And now back on Wall Street. And this building here says it's an Equinox building. It's 14 Wall Street, and it's part of the TJ Maxx department store. But on this side, let's see, at one time this was a Bankers Trust building, and now it's used as an Equinox, or at least this part of it is. It looks like they got a bit of construction going on. And this would be the end of Wall Street, and the next street up is Broadway. And we're now on Broadway, and this building across the street, it's a pretty neat looking church, and it's showing up as the Trinity Church. built in 1846, and it's a Episcopal church, and it's currently closed due to the coronavirus. And it looks like off to the left they even have a cemetery, and just across the street, even over here to the right, looks like they also have another cemetery in front. Let me see if I could walk behind this wall here. And here's a better view of the cemetery for the Trinity Church. And it looks like they're doing construction on this as well. And that looks to be real. It doesn't look to be Halloween decorations. So, a cemetery in downtown New York City. And I'm now walking on Broadway. Here's another juice smoothie stand. Looks like this one's a little bit more expensive. It's $7.50 for a large juice. And some more rates for the subway down below. And across the street is 120 Broadway. And on the GPS, this is showing up as the Equitable Life Insurance building. And actually, I didn't really need the GPS because it's written right on the building itself that it is the Equitable Life Insurance. And doesn't look like Equitable Life is in the building anymore. See if I get a better view. Looks like the top floors, they appear to be residential. And the ground floor, there's a Citibank branch. Pretty much a small banking branch on every street. But for the most part, the major banks, the only major bank currently on Wall Street is the that German bank, the Deutsche Bank. So I mean, most of these other buildings, it's office space or apartments and condos. And this building here says the United States Realty Building, and this looks like that's office space. And continuing walking on Broadway, just crossing Cedar Street. And this area off to the left here is some sort of a park. It's Zuccotti Park, and looks to be mostly concrete and concrete benches. There's really, if you have a dog, there's really nowhere to take your pet. There's some flowers in the middle there. And across the street, another large building. This is 140 Broadway. And on the GPS, this is, at one time, it was a HSBC building. And the signage outside is showing up as Brown Brothers. And when I look at Brown Brothers, they're an investment banking firm. And I'm not sure how much of the building Brown Brothers has, but that too was a bank building at one time. And I'm now on Liberty Street. And according to my map, One Liberty Plaza is where the Nasdaq stock exchange is. But the odd thing about this building, see if I can get a better view, is there's no signage on the outside that this is a Nasdaq. And I would also like to point out that the building directly to the left, that would be number 4 World Trade Center, and the Trade Center complex is directly behind that building. So it's only about a 3 to 4 block walk from the Trade Center to Wall Street, and that will conclude my tour of Wall Street. Thank you.